Hey, elevators, how are you guys doing today? This is the Elevate Beyond show, and I'm your host, Jake Kelfer. Today, I'm super excited to bring on a very special guest, somebody who at first we met online via mutual friend Alexis Teichmiller. She introduced us. We followed each other on social media. That led to us meeting when I was in Nashville. And when I was in Nashville, we became great friends. And she is now one of the best photographers I know. Her name is Jess Steddom. She'll be joining us in just a little bit. But before she joins in and we bring her on, I just want to take a second and ask you guys to do me a quick favor. If you're enjoying the show, follow along with somebody, share it with somebody, give us a comment down below. Would love to see you guys, would love to engage with you guys. But also, I want to just take a second and say that I hope you are having a phenomenal day at whatever time you're listening to this, whether it's live right now, whether it's in the morning, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's the next day, whether it's whenever. I want you to take a second and just to be appreciative of right now, the moment. They call today a gift because today is the present. So enjoy that little message. And with that said, I'm going to bring on Jess Steddom. Hang on, everybody. All right, we're doing it. Jess on to the Elevate Beyond show. And here we go.
Wait.
There she is.
I've never done this before. How do you do this? Okay.
Welcome.
I'm on.
Beyond show.
What?
I said, welcome to the Elevate Beyond show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You look great as always, and we're very, very happy to have you on your first Instagram live experience. Is that correct?
I know. This is so crazy.
We're new on Instagram Live. It's a live show. We're going to have people coming in, coming out.
Here we go.
We may have 100 people come on. We may have one person come on. But either way, we're going to have a good time. We'll talk 10 minutes. I'm going to ask you some questions, hopefully dive deep into that brain of what makes you the best photographer out there.
That is kind.
So just to get going, Jess, tell me a little bit about your journey up to this point and how you have built this photography lifestyle that you currently live.
Well, it definitely started as a total hobby. I had a job doing logistics and HR, and I absolutely hated it. So basically, I made my hobby into a career. And I don't know, I guess if you love something and you're just like, are so motivated to continue to do what you love, then it kind of sometimes just works out. And I'm really lucky that I'm in Nashville. The community here is like absolutely what made it possible to continue doing this dream I have is being a photographer, and it changes all the time. And that's honestly what I love about it, is that it's so unexpected and unpredictable. But I think just being like down to try new things, which is what I'm doing right now. It's a lot of experimenting, which is hard. And I feel like it's easy to look back and be like, oh yeah, when I was like learning stuff and failing a lot. And it's like right now I'm like having to be so okay with not being perfect at my craft, which is so hard. But that's like, I guess that jumped into like more where I'm at now on that journey. But I've been doing photography for 3 years now, like full time basically. So that's cool in and of itself. Yeah.
We talk about the journey, and we talk a lot about the journey on the show.
Yeah.
You're right in the middle of your journey where life is taking on all incredible paths, and you're getting to do some really cool things that work, and you're getting to do some things that don't work. Can you talk about just something that comes to mind, the first thing that comes to mind about an experience recently that's just been awesome because of what you're doing, and then also an experience that you're like, whoa, that did not go as planned?
Okay. So I'm starting to do a little bit of video work, and that is both of those things. So I've gotten a lot of opportunities because of that, because of just kind of jumping in and being like, you know what, let's see what happens and like do my best. And I've gotten some really, really cool travel opportunities because of that. But also I'm not the right person for all video projects, which is kind of a hard thing to learn, and to be like, hey, I can do certain types of things. But there are a lot of things that I'm not skilled enough at, and that takes a lot of learning and practice. So I think jumping in sometimes is great and has really gotten me some cool opportunities, but also like you just have to be okay with not being perfect at it, which is really a hard thing to swallow sometimes. But if you're not moving in any direction, then you're not moving forward. So I think even like being not great at something at the beginning is still moving towards learning and ending up being great at it. But I'm just like very in the midst of not being great at it.
And that's okay though. It's okay,
Yeah.
right? Because if
Totally.
we had figured out right away in whatever we were trying to do, one, we wouldn't be as interested in learning and getting better, but two, it would also be as fun when we get to the peak because we'll have started. So if you're talking about where you want to go, where do you see these opportunities taking you? What would be your ideal photo shoot or your ideal thing to do? Like, what would be best for you?
I think I am trying to do more conceptual things, basically like coming up with like the dream team, which is a big thing for me right now. I'm trying to build a team of people that I want to work with and not just try to do it all by myself anymore. And so that is going to be really cool, and also like plan out stuff a little more, like think about things, really like structure a whole concept, and kind of like take a little bit more time to plan and not just be so like last minute go with the flow, like we'll see what happens, which is great. But I think some of my best recent work is when I really sat down and come up with like how I want it to look and who I want to be a part of it, and then kind of just like putting in the time and effort that it takes to really make like magic happen.
And so how are you working on building a team? Are there certain roles that you're looking to find? Are you trying to hire little freelance? Like, how do you go about approaching a team?
Well, I guess right now it's just people like stylists or other models, or I don't know, there's so many random things, assistants that, you know, do lighting or that do set design. And right now I'm just kind of like working with a lot of different people and seeing what works. And then when I find people that I love to work with, then I'll see what happens. But it's not like hiring people at this point. It's more just like collaborating and working with a team of people. And I think that's what it'll end up being, is more of like an agency sort of thing, where it's like I have all the people that, you know, we all work together doing these things. And we just consistently work together on projects instead of just trying to be me being the stylist and the creative director and the like in the video and photo, and like it's good to be able to do a lot of things, but it also isn't fun for me anymore to just be the only person on set or the only person coming up with the idea, which is something that I've been really excited about too, because I can see that being really cool, and like bouncing off ideas with other people is like one of my favorite things to do. So
and what would you say in your work, because it sounds like you're putting together a team because you want to have great
Taylor
involved, and say the strength when it comes to your work.
Wait, say that again.
And what your biggest strength when it comes to your work?
I think a lot of people are really scared of not doing it right, and like that kind of paralyzes them, and almost to a fault I jump into things and like kind of feel like I can figure it out. So it is a strength that I am not really like, I'm pretty confident in that like I can make it work. Like whether it's the best situation ever every time is up for debate, but I am like very much like problem solver, like go with the flow, make the most of any situation, and like think on my feet, which has gotten me this far. So,
And so
we'll see what happens though.
And outside of everything you're doing for work, and outside of the giggles that you got right now from some people commenting, what do you do in your spare time in Nashville? How do you find to just be you and enjoy an amazing scene?
I mean, the friends that I have around me are amazing, and sometimes if I lock myself in the room too long, they're like, come on, like we're gonna go do something, like we can't just work all the time. And sometimes when I'm working and I don't feel like inspired at all, I'll just get up and leave and go for a run or just talk with people, which is like honestly like the best way to kind of get out of your head, is to just like chat with people about life and kind of get some good perspective. I definitely work a bunch and unconventional hours, but I will like definitely take time to like be or just to like hang out with people. I live with 7 roommates, so there are an abundance of people around to hang out and stuff. So yeah.
So outside of all of that good stuff, though, too, you love to travel. Is that right?
Oh yes, yes,
And
I love travel. Who doesn't?
travel with work. And where's the favorite place that you've ever been?
What was the first part of that?
How have you been able to combine your love for travel with?
Well, I think that's a pretty easy thing to put together is like capturing that travel with photo and video, but being able to capitalize on hospitality companies and doing different landscape things for different product companies has been really cool. But what was the second part of that question? I can't remember.
I don't even know if I remember it. It was, how do you combine it? And then where's your favorite place?
Oh, my favorite place I traveled to? Scenery-wise, Canada, 100%. It is like the most beautiful place in the whole world. And me and Alexis went, and I just remember driving through on I think it was the Icefields Parkway. And we were just like stopping every like 5 minutes. And I was like, stop the car, we have to get out. Like, I've never seen the water like this, or I didn't know this existed with these mountains. So we were like such nerds the whole time. I just made her stop every like 2 minutes. Basically, I'm the worst person to travel with because I make the whole group stop like every 4 minutes and be like, guys, I'm totally gonna take a picture here.
Yeah, but when the look as good as they do and you take them, I would stop every couple minutes for you as
well.
well.
That's what I tell everyone. I'm like, look, do you want pictures of yourself in the desert or not? We gotta stop.
like take those pictures. Okay,
Yeah.
So a final few questions.
Okay.
But before we do that, just take a quick second to acknowledge you. And for those of you who listen, you mentioned someone named Alexis, and I mentioned this. Alexis is the friend that introduced us via Instagram, and then in person. And that's how we ended up here, which is an awesome little fun story about connecting. But I want to ask you, how can people connect with you, and how can people, get in touch with you after this show?
Yeah, well, Instagram is a good way. You can DM me and ask me anything. I love to answer any questions about stuff, and yeah, my name, Jessica Steddom, is where you find me on Instagram and website, so it's pretty easy.
And I know that before I asked that question, I went on the Alexis tangent. I acknowledge you, so I need to do it now. But I want to acknowledge you because, one, coming on the show, being your first Instagram Live experience.
Oh, scary.
And for being just a bright soul in the sense of, you can see the excitement you have in your smile. You can see the passion for the work that you're doing and the impact it can have on the world, and how you can share a story and capture a moment. And I think that that's such an incredible thing. And as someone who, when I was with you in Nashville, tried to take cool photos and trendy photos, and you made it look so easy. So doing, whoever can be on your team, like, they're lucky. And so being on the show, that's really happy that we've finally been able to really know it. And so for the final question, what is your of success?
Oh man. I think basically like success is, oh man, this is a hard one. Why'd you spring this on me? I didn't get to think about this. I think being like fully present with the people and the things that you're doing is a lot what it means to be successful to me, because if you're just like running around all the time trying to achieve things, then you can't enjoy the journey to get there. You can't enjoy the people along the way, which I think is the most important part, is like really making those meaningful impacts and relationships, because that's really the only important thing. And what you do with those really is like, I think, success. So yeah.
And that's a great way to end episode 6 of the Elevate Beyond
Woo!
Show. Thank you so much for coming on, buddy. Make sure you follow at Jessica Steddom, jessicastedom.com. And Jess, we will be in touch very soon. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me so much. This is so fun.
Awesome. So everybody, episode 6, the Elevate Beyond Show. I'm your
Bye.
host. Take care, everybody.